I need to ask you a question. Be curious, Drifters.
Mr. Brightside spins them up and wins again. Zardozi wins the Oaks for J-Mac. The photo finish. Mr. Brightside or Romantic Warrior. The mare's going. Great guns. Fangirl. Look at her go. Fangirl. Imperatrice has got her. And raced on by Imperatrice by a length.
Overpass. More Baker's Delight in Perth.
Radina just won it, I'd say. Tom Kedden won the spring champion in a cakewalk. Without a fight, won the Caulfield Cup.
Speaking of J-Mac on Zardozi,
Yeah.
he was booked for counter this Friday night.
You're kidding me.
No. I looked at it because I was like, oh, Canterbury. All right, let me have a look. Let me have a look at this field, right? Winnable race. I think it was second leg of the quaddie or third leg of the quaddie. I was like, oh, hello, feature race. Neck minute. He's drawn barrier 17. This horse cannot draw a barrier.
He cannot draw a gate, mate.
And there's a reason why he's now considered in many, many experts' circles the best maiden in Australia.
Look, he's not doing the horse justice at all, that tag. He's a good horse, Kiana. All right, guys, praying for a good barrier. 17. 17's not a good barrier on any track.
No.
Like,
The only time I'd want 17 is down the straight at Flemington.
yeah, and he's definitely not doing anything up the straight at Flemington, I'll tell you that much.
No way.
He'd play up so much. Yeah, disappointing. So I'm assuming he's already been scratched or is going to be?
No, he hasn't been yet.
I honestly,
Don't get it.
I'd just run him.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because there's probably more decent races in 2 weeks' time. Or what if he draws 17 there?
True.
Like, if he's had a good piece of work this week, like, I'd rather him run in this. He runs on to finish 4th or 3rd. And you're like, yeah, if he drew closer, he would have won. Then wait another 2 weeks for that potentially to happen all over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean. And, you know, he's a get-back horse anyway.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to run. He needs... For him to finally win a race, it's got to be they're going nuts up front and he can run on and, you know, not play up too much.
Yeah.
So there's a few things that need to go right in the kitchen for Counter to present us with a perfectly cooked medium rare steak. There's a few conditions that need to be on point. So,
Yes. That is a good point.
Yeah.
Not a hell of a lot of racing this weekend of note, I would say.
No. But, look, it's been a very low-key week and a bit for your boy.
Are you feeling better?
Yeah, fine. Absolutely fine. Fully recovered. Drifters, I know you were worried there for a little bit.
Mate, I was.
But compared to when I first got it, I might have said this on the review podcast on Sunday, absolutely cooked when I got back from Melbourne. 2022, sitting at the airport on Wednesday morning, day after the Melbourne Cup, and like sort of sat there, I was like, geez, I'm tired and cooked. I have been drinking like pretty much every day pretty heavily since Friday night at the Valley. Been some late nights in there. You know, I cheered home Asfoora so hard in the final race of the day on Derby Day, and
Oh, mate, you had a beer with Mick Sharkey. That probably was took you off.
yes, yeah, Sharky, big carrier, big transmitter, real viral type. It's like, what sort of hep do you have, Sharky? All of them. Yes. A, B, C, D, and E. Yes, and when I was sitting at the airport, I was like, I am actually cooked here. And I feel sorry for the fucker who was sitting next to me on that flight because, bro was like, I should have been wearing like one of those things that like people who work at nuclear power plants wear, like a full hazmat suit.
I know the one.
That's what I should have been. That's what I should have been wearing.
Yeah.
As soon as I got home,
An anthrax suit.
yeah, fully. Like, bro rocks up to the airport. Little does he know he's sitting next to an envelope with anthrax in it on just a casual flight home domestic from Melbourne up to Brisbane. Like, oh,
All I wanted to do was watch the races and have one of the greatest weekends of my life.
neck minute. And you had to peel me off the floor for that following 48 hours.
But this time wasn't like that.
It wasn't like that. Just a bit of a scratchy throat.
Yeah.
Like if I was due to run in a Group 1 on the weekend, I wouldn't have been scratched.
Nah. God, no.
So yeah, feeling good, feeling great. And yeah, been very low key.
Yeah. One
Very
thing
low-key.
I've been getting into is running.
Yeah.
Went for my longest run the other morning, 8K ever. Yeah.
How'd you go?
Good. It was just on the treadmill because I am still struggling with outdoor running. This is giving me shin splints.
Get that bread on the tread.
So yeah, I was getting shin splints in my lower right. So I'm doing some like mobility exercises to help come that along because we want to do a half marathon this year.
Yep.
And we will do that. We
will.
might even get some of the drifters involved if they want to.
If they want, get off the couch, you degenerates. 8Ks is good though.
Yeah, I felt pretty good too. I've only been running for 4 weeks, so I feel like it's a decent effort.
I've never had issues with shin splits.
Oh, you're a hero, aren't you?
Oh, I'm just built different. No, maybe because I've got nothing there.
Yeah.
there's no particular strength or bit of foot stuff if you're into that drifters. if you
like that?
Yeah, we're doing this for free. We don't even have an OnlyFans for our feet. We're going to do a half marathon this year. Marathon, not my jam. Like, that's a bit too far, I think, for me.
Yeah. I reckon I'd be curious to see. I need to get my heart rate down first. That's what I need to do. My heart rate, like, for 8Ks, my average heart rate, I think, was 169.
Damn real fine. What sort of times were you doing for
not
splits?
Not that fast.
Not
It was
fast.
like, I think I was averaging like maybe 10Ks an hour. So what's that, 6 minutes?
Yeah. But, you get that down to just over 5. You're going quick.
Yeah, that's a big increase though.
Yeah, but,
I'm 3 weeks into a 15-week program.
Did you think they started the pyramids at the smallest point, at the tip? Or did they build a solid base and foundation?
What I heard is Rome wasn't built in a day.
Exactly. Look, is the horses grand final first up? Or do they work towards it? Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Defies logic.
Sometimes.
Hey, if it's first up, that's fine. As long as I'm aware that it's first up, run is going to be its grand final.
Yeah.
And bet with confidence.
Yeah. First up fever. We might have first up fever this year. It might be the autumn of first up fever. I don't mind that.
Do you know what? Speaking of the autumn, I was having a little bit of a look in futures markets today, just on a few of the features that are coming up.
It's probably what we could do, actually.
Yeah. And you know what was, as usual, you see some of the prices of some of these horses in the futures markets, and you're like, huh? You're kidding. You're offering me that price for this thing? Absolutely absurd behavior. But I was actually like quite underwhelmed with what I saw.
Yeah.
And things change so much in a 3 to 4 month period in the great game of horse racing, and horses pop up and horses improve and so on and so forth. Like prior to the spring of last year, we knew Imperatriz was a good horse, but did we think she would go that well in the spring?
In 3 Group 1s, was it?
Something like that. No, we didn't. We didn't think that. No. And now we're like, yeah, she's the best sprinter in Australasia.
Mate,
potentially the world.
Artorius knocked her off. And hang on.
He's only won twice.
Hang
3
on.
times maybe.
Hang on. He might be okay. So that's how quickly these things can change.
Exactly right. So yeah, I was looking at some of the futures markets, and I'm like, you know what? A lot of this is quite underwhelming.
So what? Are you turning your attention to something like the Blue Diamond?
The Blue Diamond's like, we're 5 or 6 weeks out,
And it's going to progress from next weekend, basically.
I'm never going to be overwhelmed by the futures market for the Blue Diamond. Probably even a week before, mate. To be honest.
Like you have the preview and the prelude, which are a fortnight out, and they really shape the market.
Exactly right. Like I look at this Australian Cup, market.
Yeah.
And you've got the likes of Mr. Brightside, Alligator Blood, A Tissue, Solcombe, Fangirl, Militarised, Jewess, Gold Trip, Legato create some interest. But Prior to Jenny, Tom Kitten, Zaki, Amelia's Jewel. Like a lot of them aren't even going to go there. And I'm sort of looking at the field and I'm thinking, you know?
Yeah, but that's where the Australia Cup's at now.
It is. Okay, well, let's go to the Queen Elizabeth because I don't think it's going to be that different, mate.
Well, but you're forgetting one of my autumn headlines. Kovalika's winning that race. $26.
Okay.
$26, but Legato is interesting. But I think you know where they'll head with her. They'll head with her towards an All-Star Mile, I reckon. I reckon she'd brain them in that.
The trainers did say Australia Cup, but
did they?
is that Australia Cup post or pre?
What is it
All-Star?
usually? I think it's usually the week after, right? I think it might be the week 4.
It's 2 weeks before the All-Star Mile,
Yeah,
so she
okay.
could do the All-Star Mile on the way to an Australian Cup.
Okay,
Legato.
if she's heading to the Australia Cup, she's the better pick over Kovalika. But Kovalika is still a good shout in that race.
Yeah.
Like they brought him back down to a Golden Eagle in the spring. He needs, I think 2,000 metres is his jam.
It's got a 2 in front of it. sort of jam Kovalika is spreading on his toast.
He's eating that up, isn't he?
He's eating up 2,000 metres plus, isn't he? That's his jam that he's eating up. Even if you look at the Queen Elizabeth, right,
Yeah.
which is the creme de la creme.
To buy honour?
To buy honour.
What?
So he's
$7 favourite with
he's
Nets.
$7 favourite with the good people in Nets. But then you've got the suspects that were, potential suspects in the Australia Cup markets. The Blood, Brightside, Militarizer, Tissue, Fangirl.
Pride
Gold Trick.
of Jenny, $13. That is a joke.
Like, honestly.
That's a joke.
Like,
My chain is getting yanked. She wasn't that price when she was winning at Flemington.
mate, at least when Ned Kelly was robbing you, like, he had the decency to wear a mask, so he knew he was coming.
Oh, Bamburimai. What?
Oh, honestly.
Tom Kitten is interesting. If he progresses, if he shows his class, like that win reminded me a lot of who was that Japanese horse that I was obsessed with? That in the Richard Litt Silks.
Oh, Profondo.
Yeah. That reminded me of Profondo, right?
Yeah.
And, if he progresses, I think Tom is fair to say he's probably a better prospect than Profondo.
He might be a bit of a tiger. Not a kitten little Tommy. Little
Yeah.
kitty cat Tom.
Well, when Hot Nash is saying this is possibly the best horse I've ever ridden.
Oh, he's a good judge.
Yeah.
I'd trust Hot.
2,000 metres. I think what Big Tom takes, what we've learned out of his last prep, is he needs a few runs to really, I think he thrives from being in work.
Do you know what jam he's spreading? 2,000 metre plus jam.
Yeah.
So we're still looking at the Queen Elizabeth here, right?
Yeah.
May she rest in peace. and all these horses are around the same price in futures. So you got AJ, Antino, Critique, who? Deauville Legend, Duke de Sessa, El Bodygon, Globe, Kovalika, Law of Indices, Legato, My Oberon, Osipenko, Pavitra, Pennyhueca, Pericles, She's Extreme, Steph Hardy, Taraman Sewer, Tropical Squall, Zaki. They're all the same price. That tells me that people doing futures markets are just like, bleh. And whatever ends up on the page is what's there, because you cannot tell me that you're in a 2,000 meter race that you're taking the same price for AJ as what you're going to get for something like El Bodygon or Globe.
Yeah.
Globe showed a lot in that first prep, but then he, pulled up stumps pretty quick.
That was like Geelong grade. You
Exactly.
know what I mean?
Exactly.
All right, so if I look at ones that I think, based on their spring preparations, are over the odds right now, considering you're getting double figures for Mr. Brightside, which, that's probably that he's about the right price at $10, but still probably too short this far out with plenty of footy to play.
So much football.
But the one that screams out to me right now from her run in the Champions Stakes is a Tissue.
Yeah.
$26. Like, she brained him.
Yeah.
Brained him. She won
Yeah.
the Champions Stakes, didn't she?
Yeah, 2,000 metres, yeah. And prior to Jenny won the mile race.
Yeah.
Oh,
Pretty sure it was.
disgusting Flemington Carnival, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was despicable. But like $26
whitey.
$26 for her. She's the same price as Deauville Legend. Do you reckon he's coming over?
Doesn't make any sense to me.
Nah.
It makes zero sense.
Especially because like there's nothing to gain from these markets being inaccurate, because this far out in something like the Queen Elizabeth, it is a pre-nom market. So if they don't run and they don't accept, if they don't accept for the race, bets on runners not nominated for the race will be refunded.
Yeah.
Like, those horses aren't going to be there.
No.
So it's just like a stifling turnover.
No. Whereas, like, so, yeah, not a lot of things to be enthused about from the middle distance onwards, I found, in the futures markets. But then you turn your eye to the sprints, like the TJ, like Imperatriz, I Wish I Win, Think About It. I don't think Kick's going to get there, but like in Secret Private Eye, AJ's in that market, Bella, Bueno, Cylinder, Hawaii 5-0, King's Gambit's in that market, Osmosis, Sunshine in Paris. Like, that's getting me more up and about.
Yeah, that's stacked.
That's stacked,
But
mate.
that's the state of our racing, right?
Yeah, so I'm hoping that there's a few who come out of the woodwork. This autumn, I think this will be a bit of a,
Passing of the baton.
yes, that's what I'm hoping, because, middle distance ranks are a bit underwhelming at ATM.
Yeah.
But, on the actual day, the week of, will I be up and about for all these races? Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
What was that? All right. What was that horse's name from the University of Morphettville that you were talking about last week? Sigafira? What's his name?
Scripper.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
$26 for the new market.
Yeah, it's a handicap horse.
Well, you look at the top of the market for that race. I Wish I Win 480, in Secret 550. Buenos Noches 8. He could be the one. Like, think about it. It's not going to go there. Cylinder potentially. Overpass. He's probably weighted out of it now. Winning a Group 1 over in the West. Private Eye will be. I think he was my on top selection last year, and he was carrying the bloody grandstand on his back.
Do you know what? I think for a Newmarket handicap this year, depending on who's in there, I might even go with a more of a top weight, because I just think our better sprinters are just so much better than the rung below.
They are good.
So even Imperatriz, if she's there, which she might not be, but if she's there as a top weighted mare,
Oh mate,
she'd be incredibly hard to beat.
She'd be carrying 60 with the mares, surely. Something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Like she'd be black caviar like.
But I'm pretty sure Shkaripa, is his favourite early markets for the Oakley Plate.
Yeah, okay. All right.
But
Airman at 26, he was good.
yeah. But like I'd rather have Asfura in an Oakley Plate, even if she carries more weight than Shkaripa.
Yeah.
Because she's good.
I think that's a chance.
Yeah.
In the autumn, something like an Oakley Plate for sure.
Caulfield, 1,100 metres, draws a gate. Even if she's, one of the heavier weighted horses, she'll be incredibly hard to run down.
Yeah. A horse that I'm looking at right now, very keen to see it in the autumn if it does return, because we didn't see it in the spring. What you need. Absolutely Brain Benedetta, having some hoof issues, I believe. So they just...
Degenerative.
Mate, they were talking Everest for that horse early in the spring. So, and he brained Benedetta down the straight. Or was it Benedetta or was it Asfura?
Beat Benedetta.
Yeah.
He beat Benedetta, and he's only probably started 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
He's shown a lot of promise.
Yeah.
Wonder if he still has his nuts, what you need.
Eh.
Who's he by? He'd be a Vinny, wouldn't he?
Sure. No idea, mate. That's your area of expertise.
You need horse.
So, while you're looking that up,
He's by Cepedo. What was I thinking?
hey,
Hey, he's still got his nuts.
there you go. Now, one thing that we were going to do, because we're only going to give out when there's no real races to dissect, there's no black type races this weekend. So we're just going to give out a couple of tips at the end. But to fill in the time that we are spending together right now, what we're going to play is a little bit of red light, green light. Now, made famous by probably every single radio show on the planet Earth, along the journey in some form. But in the podcast land at the moment, it is made famous by the likes of... I did write it down just so I wouldn't... what are they called? We Mean Well. So
I don't know, mate, because I'm not a
podcast guy.
I'm not a podcast guy.
Yeah, We Mean Well, they do that at the moment. Anyway, so red light, green light.
Yep.
The premise is I say a statement and then you say red light or green light and you provide a reason. So, looking through the cards this weekend, one thing I saw, dual acceptors, red light, green light.
Red light.
It stinks, doesn't it?
As a punter, yeah. Like as an owner, as a trainer, big green light.
Yep.
But we are predominantly, we're not trainers. We are small time owners, so it's pretty irrelevant to us in general. We're punters. And the punters want to know where the horse is going to be racing well in advance because it affects the entire complexity and makeup of a race.
Who's the worst stable at it?
Chris Waller, easily.
Length of the straight. Mate, he'll have
easily.
them accepted in 3 states.
Wave Rider Boy is accepted
Bowie.
for... Bowie. Boy is accepted for like 4 races this weekend.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Across 2 states, 3 states.
On a, frankly, irrelevant weekend and for connections that have plenty. That's the thing. like that's the thing I can't work out. It's like, just make a decision, move on, guys.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. I'm looking at where she's accepted. I'm pretty sure she's drawing like one of the widest alleys in every single race. So have fun with that. Yeah, so big red light.
Okay. All right, red light, green light. This is just a general one, right?
Uh-huh.
Back markers.
Red light.
Red light?
Red light. You know, when I'm punting at my best, which is very rare, once a year, it's when I'm looking at the field and I just, even though I like a horse, if I know it's going to get too far back, I just ignore it.
Yeah.
And that's when I feel more logic is powering my punting, whereas I'm usually a big gut feel heart guy overhead. So yeah, red light. It's just you can have something storm over the top of them. You just have to cop it on the chin.
Yep.
You know.
And there's circumstances where that plays into your favour as well. A leader track bias at Flemington won't be that day, but in that same race, say like a fangirl, okay, she's going to settle last in that Champions Mile, but there was only 6 or 7 horses there. There's only going to be 3 lengths. She can pick them up from there on a fair day.
Yeah, exactly, on a fair day.
Yeah.
So how often have you seen a track where it's like, yeah, big back markers bias on this track?
Yeah.
Like, it's just not going to happen.
At least red light. At least they can run on. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And I agree, mate. I agree. Even though I'll be sucked in.
Oh, of course I will. Yeah, I'll be sucked in.
All right. This is probably the most juiciest one. Red light, green light. Horse ratings. Now, the one that comes to mind for me is Storm Boy is apparently the best 2-year-old that's ever been created. From some yarns on Twitter, which I saw you engage with.
Yep.
What are your thoughts? Red light, green light, horse ratings.
I think green light because it's not the be all and end all.
No.
It's one piece of the puzzle.
Yep.
And I find it really, really interesting, and then for that reason, it's a green light. Are they ultimately making the decision for me when I choose to back a horse? Definitely not. But for me, it's more of it's like why I find breeding fascinating, because it's a part of the story. So Storm Boy, you make a good point. Dan O'Sullivan, he's obviously one of the great, analytical, data-driven minds in the great game of horse racing.
He is one of the great Excel operators of all time.
Easily. Has his way with Excel.
Of all time.
Like
He'd know some hacks in there, some formula-driven, some shortcuts that you'd only hope to dream of.
Excel moaning in ecstasy every time Dan has his fingers all over it. Every time Dan's whipping out the fingers on that keyboard, Excel just, in absolute...
Bill Gates is like,
just in a state of euphoria. Excel when Dan O'Sullivan's fingers are in control. Oh. Anyway, So yeah, he posted on Twitter basically giving Stormboy a rating which would have him the highest rated Magic Millions winner in at least the last 10 years, but also the second highest 2-year-old rating performance in the last 10 years, behind Stay Inside's Golden Slipper win, which was dominant.
Yeah.
And he was a pretty good price that day from memory, wasn't he? Stay Inside.
It's because he had a rating that rated down the run prior.
That's right. Yeah.
So he just put in a flat performance, and then he peaked on the right day.
Yeah, of course, with the right stable. So he's come out and said that, and I engaged with it because, and as part of that post, Dan also said, I've got every inclination to believe that he'll get better out over further, and for me, when I think a horse is going to get better out over further, it's how do they finish off the race, and I was just fascinated to hear what he had to say, because I think for 2-year-olds it might be a little bit different sometimes. Yeah. They can end off the 1,200 meters really well, but as you put them out over a little bit further, and they just gas because they just don't know how to run that extra bit further. But based on what he said, he's like, this horse can win the Triple Crown, which is obviously the slipper size, and then the Champagne 12, 14, 16. And for me, the rating that he attaches to that horse, based on the data that he has, it just gives a really solid foundation and some backing to what you just see visually. Yeah. That's why I really like it.
Yep.
Whereas, sometimes you can watch a horse win and you think, oh, geez, this thing put it away by 3 lengths. Like, how good is this? Blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And it might rate really low because, maybe they were walking for most of the race and blah, blah, blah. Or, maybe the things that it beat up on weren't that great, so on and so forth. Yeah. And it just gives you some more context when you're backing. And it also makes you feel really good when you pick a winner and it rates really high because you're just like, I'm better.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yep. Big green light. What about you?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Because there's some gurus that they can quantify the data. There's so many data points in horse racing,
Yeah.
And I think the thing that we can get a little bit, not carried away with, but maybe forget but from all reports, this is something that he takes into consideration with his analysis as well, because he'll provide the ratings. He'll give a horse a better rating, say he'll always try and have it equal to like weight for age. So it's like if these two horses were going up against each other, but Stormboy was what did he say? Like 5 or 6 kilos worse off than King of Sparta basically at this time in their careers, and he ran a better time. King of Sparta 2 lengths within, think about it, in the lead-up run to the Stradbroke, whatever Group 1 that was, Kings of Smith maybe. So it's like, okay, we have a serious prospect on our hands. And it's just nice to see like that, those ratings kind of like back it up, I guess.
Yeah. And
it's like our good mate Bradley sent us during the week, those Longines ratings as well. And seeing Imperatriz is like where Australia actually ranks on like the global scale. So like Without a Fight winning the Caulfield Cup and the Melbourne Cup is still only like 24th on the planet. It's like, it just makes me think those like 2 of our feature races in Australia, like, does it actually have that much significance to the global scale,
No, and they never will because they're handicap races. The only horse, there's been 2 performances that I've seen that have been backed up by ratings which would compete on the world stage against the best horse in the world in those 2 major races is Incentiviser's Caulfield Cup and Very Elegant's Melbourne Cup win. Based on the ratings, they, not much in history would have beaten those 2 horses on that particular day.
Yeah.
So unless they were also genuine weight for age horses.
Yeah.
I think Without a Fight is also a genuine weight for age horse. But I think he will improve. But winning a handicap race where he's not carrying the top weight across the Caulfield Cup and the Melbourne Cup, he's not going to rate in the top 10 horses in the world. Can he be a top 15 horse in the world? I think without a fight can, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's just going to improve.
Yeah.
He just needs to win a weight for age race.
He has hey, Q22, mate.
That's what he can win that. Why couldn't he?
He did.
Oh, not the Q22, the QE too.
Well, he did half a tendon. I don't know what that means. So he's like, we won't see him in the autumn anyway. But he's got the right connections to take him global anyway. All right. Red light, green light. The Moonee Valley redevelopment.
Oh, I can't be Amber, can I? Look, I think green light because it's an inner city track, and if it's for the betterment of the actual venue itself, as long as they maintain that feeling of being a real coliseum, we've been there a few times now, and you feel like you're right on top of the racing, and you feel really close to it. So if they can still maintain that atmosphere, green light. The actual track itself, it is unique and it's awesome. Like, I like the short straight Moonee Valley, but this is due for a refurb, the actual track.
The good racing's only really either in summer or once the spring is once it's 20 degrees.
Yeah.
In winter, you can't race on it.
No.
It's just leader bias and it's no good.
It's no good. So yeah, that needs to be rectified. So I'm going to say green light. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think so. I agree.
Yeah.
Not really too much to add. All right. This one's a bit of fun. Last one. All right. Let me paint a picture for you. You got a horse in the form guide. It's third up.
Mm-hmm.
Its first two starts have been sensational.
Yep.
Somehow, it's avoided the handicapper. It's down in the weights. So you're third up. It's about 1,400 metres, right? It's drawn cherry ripe. You've done the speed map. This thing's on speed. No other speed in the race, so it's going to be up there. No pressure. It's going to be bloody hard to run down. It's rated $4. And it should be, in your book, $1.50. Jay McNeil is on. Red light, green light.
Red light. Red light, mate. I'm telling you, I can't back him with confidence. He knows. He knows.
I feel like every punter, that not necessarily has a podcast, but every punter that, looks at the form guide, has a bet on, a few horses each weekend or whatever. They have these jockeys that they just, for whatever reason, they cannot catch.
John McNeil is a good jockey.
Yeah, he is.
He's a good jockey.
He's just not mates with you.
He's not mates with me. And that's why he's a weak-gutted dog. Because I can't find him. So it's all my fault. It's not his. But no, I can't back him, mate.
Kieran's like that for me.
Kieran's tough, mate.
Kieran is tough. And, he shocked me. All the big dogs leave the city to go to Melbourne or something, and he turns in a treble or something.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's the only time he can cash in, Kieran. Not years and years ago, but the last 12 to 24 months, I've been avoiding him like a plague.
I think if you had a graph and you basically had Redzell's retirement, you'd basically see the steady decline for Kieran. Well, what's his latest Group 1 win? That's
I can't remember.
No.
Is
his last major win
probably
Classic? Oh, Classic Legend was maybe around that. Was that the same carnival?
Might have been the same carnival. Look, his strike rate in his last 50 is 24%. Kieran,
yeah, off season, mate. Kieran McAvoy. Let's have a look at this. Let's see if we can find this. 81 Group 1 victories. That's impressive.
So New South Wales Metro last season, 490 starts for 48 first, so that's 9%. If you backed him, your pot would be negative 20%. New South Wales Country, 147 starts for only 14 wins. Your pot would be negative 37.8%. He didn't have a single winner in 24 starts in Queensland with 4 third places. He had 18 starts in Victoria for one winner and 4 placings. Like that's atrocious.
Yeah. So, all right. Of these horses, right, and these are his best ones recently, which one would be the most recent? Red Zell, Trekking, the Autumn Sun, Classic Legend. They're like the latest really good ones he's been on.
So it's probably been about 3 years until he's had a good horse. Since he's last had a good horse, it was Classic Legend.
Yeah, because Tasper's 2018, Red Zell was around the same time.
I'd say of those horses, Classic Legend is probably arguably the best, as in the most brilliant on his day. But the Autumn Sun was unbelievable, like the most consistent.
Hey, mate, he rode Red Zell to his most victories.
Red Zell, an unbelievable horse. No, so yeah. Just looking at those stats,
I can't even find it.
Like how can you back him? So his his last Group 1 would have been, it would have been something like
I'm trying to find it. I can't.
Probabile.
Yeah, Probabile maybe. Like that is going to take some serious like Googling to try and find that.
It's a good question.
Yeah. That's a good trivia question. You know, if we were to have a on the drift trivia, we'd have questions like that. Like, what's Jai's latest? Is it I'm Thunderstruck?
Yep. In the
because it's been dominated by J-Mac.
in the 2-rack.
Dominated by J-Mac, Ollie.
Group 1s.
Ollie had a couple of really good years near the end there. Nash, Damien Lane.
Jamie Carr's got a few in there.
Not as many as you'd think.
Not as many as you think.
I think she's only won like 5 in total, maybe.
Tommy Berry.
Yeah. Like it's pretty competitive. Huey,
yeah, Huey's got a few.
yeah. Because mate, he went like, and this was when he was riding here. He went a year in between Group 1 wins.
Huey,
Yeah.
post Winks, yeah.
Yeah, because he had that Godolphin horse that won his 100th. I can't remember the name of it. It was like Group 3 horse at best. At like would have been the Galaxy or the something, that 1,300 meter race or something.
Savatiano?
Yes. Yep, Savatiano. Well done. That's well done by you. Well done.
Yeah, where are they now?
Well, Huey's in Hong Kong.
Andy
Andy had a fall.
Did you hear about Anamo's first season at stud?
No.
So he covered 147 mares,
Yeah.
129 of which fell pregnant. So boys got swimmers. And like nearly 50% of those mares were stakes winners, with like 11 or 12 Group 1 winners in the mix. But I think of the list, there was only like 19, maybe less Godolphin-owned mares.
Right.
So a lot of breeders were like, I want some of that for me. Yes.
What was his
121 grand was his fee.
Fuck. Hold on. What's that? Holy shit. And do you get it if you just cover the mare and they don't fall?
Depends on the stud farm.
All right, let's go 129. That he got, right?
Yeah.
All right, so fuck, 15.6 million. Holy shit.
Bang.
That's more than his fucking prize money.
Yeah.
Oh, he'll be worth this much at stud. Holy shit. That's his first year. Typically their first years are pretty good, right? And then they like go like, okay, what's his progeny looking like? And then it's usually, isn't it around like year 3, 4 that they decline or they really go up?
Yeah. Some sides it takes them a long time to actually start doing that.
So you think?
So he thinks great example.
Poor old Sosi was
Done deal.
Sosi was a one-man band for a long time. Sosi Bond.
Sosi Bond was. Which is odd because So Think was such a good horse, but it was a middle distance horse, and sometimes they just take a while to.
Yeah. I'm really keen to the deep, not the deep impacts, the fierce impacts will be coming through soon.
Yeah, they will be.
They would, because he retired 2020, so they're 20, or maybe a bit later, 2021 maybe. But yeah, that'd be, his 2-year-olds might be.
Yeah, there might be some on sale,
Yeah.
some Victorian sales this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting to see how they go with him because even like size like Castelvecchio, I keep an eye on the Magic Million sales. Like he wasn't having any go for a lot of money and things like horses who are sort of that middle distance but not dominant struggle a little bit. So Fierce Impact might struggle a little bit, but
I think he's got the bloodlines though.
he does. And as soon as he starts having some good ones,
Yeah.
like Seamus Award,
Yeah.
he just needed it. Seamus Award's by Schnitzel, I'm pretty sure, which is bizarre.
Because he won a Oakley Plate Schnitzel, didn't he?
Yeah, he won an Oakley Plate.
Yeah.
And Seamus Ward obviously won a Cox Plate. It was his maiden victory. Weird horse.
Danny O'Brien, mate.
Weird horse, Seamus Award.
Guru.
But no, yeah, so fascinating stuff.
Should we get to our bets this weekend?
Yeah,
Because this has gone for 40 minutes. I was anticipating like 20. Race 7 at Rose Hill this weekend. Number 2, Excelidus. That's not right.
Excelidus?
Yeah, let's do that one. Still in his first prep for Joe Pride. 4th up here. But Joe's got this horse humming. These 1,400 metres. It's just going to, where he's going to be. Up on speed. I think Sammy Clipperton's in the saddle. You're going to get about $4 to $6 with him. So, Excelidus on top for me.
Okay. I'll let you know that the Victorian victim has come back early.
Mate, he doesn't usually do this, but he actually emailed you, which is fascinating.
He did.
He's like, I'm back, baby.
He said, I'm back. And it could be like a swift and terrifying return to form for the victim. So he let me know. He was like, look, I've got some tips in Melbourne for you, Flemington headquarters. Do you just want, the legs of the quaddie for the podcast?
Well done.
And I said, yeah, thanks, victim. I'll take note. So we'll start off with race 7 Flemington. And this is a guy who's on the quick backup. And he won for the victim last start. Number 1, Jungle Jim. Tatum Bull has the 3 kilo apprenticeship claim. Gate 5, down the straight. Was good enough last week to beat Is It Me with Celine Gaudry on top, who also had a claim on that day. So, Mike Maroney's a great trainer and there's no reason why he'd be backing this horse up just a week later if he didn't think he was absolutely flying. So, number 1, Jungle Jim.
Yep.
Race 7, Flemington.
I like it.
Moving on to the next leg of the quaddie. Race 8.
Well, you have the numbers, mate.
Number 14, Divine Purpose. 4th up here for the Moody and Coleman stable.
Nose roll.
Definite nose roll. Has been there or thereabouts this prep. This is its first prep for Moody and Coleman. So I think they probably took a little while to figure this horse out. I liked what I saw from it last start around the valley. Sort of got a bit too far back, worked home strongly for a nice third. Draws a nice enough gate here. Divine Purpose. $5.50 with the good people at Ned's. It's your next leg of the quaddie.
What about number 13, Wakamana? Because it reminds me of Wagamama.
Wagamama.
I used to have... Remember those Japanese curries?
At Chormside?
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember.
Those Japanese curries were delicious.
They were good. I had a good ramen, actually, from a place in the city the other week, which was absolutely delightful. A bit spicy for your boy, though.
Interesting. You're usually pretty good with spice, too.
Usually pretty good, yeah. Yeah. Third leg of the quaddie.
You don't like this favourite, do you?
Which favourite? Bel Air?
Yeah.
No, not at all.
I swear you have something against this girl.
No way.
Yeah.
But I am backing an emergency in this race. Number 17, Helix. Really hoping it gets a run. I think it will. Another one who's on the quick backup. It was about 3 wide a trip last start, Flemington. It just had to do too much work and couldn't quite get there. So I got picked on the line, finished second. Not drawing a gate here again, but J-Car on, lightly weighted. I reckon she'll do some work, get her into a nice spot. This 4-year-old gelding. Doesn't win very often, but been knocking at the door. So number 17, Helix for me.
Whenever I see Clinton McDonald in the form guide and Jamie Carr on, I'm like, that's going to be awkward, but it's Clayton. Yeah.
It's Clayton Douglas,
The source actually just texted me because he's listening. Number 12, Space Tracker, has some Sydney form and he's gone down to Melbourne.
Interesting.
For Annabelle Neesham. So one to chuck into your quaddies at $7.50. Be shin on.
Have to. And then the last leg of the quaddie.
The Chief?
Hey?
Wiggum?
Chief Wiggum.
Yeah.
This is an absolute no-brainer, this bet. Yeah. So Wiggum was absolutely phenomenal at Melbourne Cup Day.
Yeah.
So he's had a bit of a freshen up.
6 weeks.
6-week freshen up. And this horse looks to me like he'll absolutely thrive down the straight 1,000 metres because he's done that before.
Yeah. $6.
Yeah, $6 with the good people in heads. I reckon it's a silly price with the trainer T Doodle and jockey D Lane.
Well,
Steering.
if I look at my notes, he's another graduate of the University of Morphettville.
He is.
Like, good horses do their apprenticeship in Morphettville, and then they rightfully come over to Melbourne and they ply their trade.
100%.
Earn their cheddar.
Gate 12 down the straight is a good gate as well.
D-Lane, Frosty.
Yep. So that's all 4 legs from the victim delivered to you, drifters, for the quaddie this weekend in Melbourne.
See, that's how in sync we are, because I had no idea that you were going to pot Bel Air, and I thought Wickham was a good bet, and I just assumed you thought he was a good bet too.
Great bet. $6.
Makes sense, right?
Makes sense to me.
When I was forming the price for my market in that race, I had him as like a $2.50 favourite.
Yeah, see, look, I've done the market and my price is different. It's like, okay. What do you formulate that on? So Wiggum Silks, are they the same as Sydney Bowler?
Ooh.
Because they look the same to me on racenet.com.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, they're pretty similar. I don't know who, I don't know what breeding farm or anything like that, stud farm might have those silks or whatever.
Let me have a look.
Sydney Bowler is okay, by the way. Update from John O'Shea. He's come through everything pretty much scot-free, but which is fantastic news.
That is good news. No, it doesn't look to be any sort of shared ownership in the horses, but could be wrong.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Yep. Well, if we have a podcast on Sunday, we'll talk about what we need to then, I guess.
We shall. You right, Leo?
Mate,
You're going off like a cut snake.
he went to the vet today. He was not impressed. He was getting, he's not an anti-vaxxer, that dog.
Getting his vax.
Yeah.
Fully vaxxed. Oh, fair enough.
You got any plans this weekend?
No plans. I might take it easy.
Yeah.
Just recover.
Yeah, mate.
Big autumn ahead.
Yeah.
What about you?
Going to the wedding venue
Oh,
on Sunday at like, 1 p.m. or something.
sheesh.
Up at Mulaney, mate.
Gross.
So actually, we might not even be able to do a podcast on Sunday.
That's all right.
To be honest, there's not much to actually review. So we'll see you next Wednesday. And then on Saturday, seeing not the pastor, but like the guy who's actually marrying us.
The pasta. Tortellini.
Yeah.
Fasuli. Spaghetti. Penne.
Turcini.
Well, is it a religious bloke?
Nah.
Celebrant.
Celebrant, that's the one. Yeah. So I think he might have some like little task for us to do or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's a good fella. He's a vegan.
One of them types, is he?
Yeah. I don't think he'd be listening to this podcast.
Do it all starts with V.
I don't think he is. But yeah, I can tell you for free, he's not listening to this podcast.
Real alternative type.
Yeah.
Alternative? Alternative. Righto.
All right. Goodbye.
See
We'll
you,
see you
drifters.
next Wednesday. We have stuff on this Sunday. We'll see you next Wednesday, where the racing is actually pretty good on the long weekend next weekend.
May God bless you.
All right. Goodbye.